I get asked all the time, what is a vigilante? What does it mean to be a vigilante? And so to explain that, I'm just going to kind of explain where the vigilantes came from. When I started the group, I honestly thought there was going to be like 10 or 20 people who really like the scrap that would want to be a part of the behind the scenes, helping pick out the guests and make the questions. And I never dreamed that the vigilantes would grow into what it has grown into. Over 700 like-minded souls. If you're a vigilante, you are never alone. We have members from across the country. We have members from across the globe. And it's just amazing what it's become. If you're in there, then you get to be in the Discord. And the Discord is where we do all of our discussions and people go live and they talk and they ask questions. And we have a channel for bitching and moaning, for presenting classes. It's amazing the fellowship that is involved in being a vigilante. And it's not just that, there's so many other benefits. You get access to the vigilante only swag shop. You get the 15% discount on all merch from Firehouse Vigilance. You get the after parties. You get the vigilante get-togethers when we're all at the same place and we get together and we raise a glass and do a toast and have the vigilante creed. You get the vigilante coin when you hit your 1-year anniversary with your number. The fireaways, the forums, the archives, all of the quarterly projects that are coming that you get to be a part of and get to be behind the scenes on. It's grown into something bigger than I ever imagined. And I want people to know about it. I want people to be a part of it. If you're not a vigilante, why not? I don't know how big it could be. I don't know. I mean, the vigilantes are where the work is at. They're the ones who are getting stuff done. And it's phenomenal to be a part of it. I wanted to get on here and explain where it started, how it came to be, and ask you, if you're not a vigilante, why not? Go to patreon.com/thevigilantes. That's where you sign up. It is $5 a month. I mean, you can't even get a cup of coffee for that anymore. $5 a month and you get to be a part of this unbelievable group. Go to patreon.com, sign up, become a vigilante, and I will see you on the Discord.
In the demanding world of firefighting, training against real-world scenarios is crucial. Yet traditional training facilities often fall short in providing realistic, versatile, and cost-effective training solutions. Affordable Drill Towers presents a groundbreaking solution. By positioning an affordable drill tower alongside your existing Connex boxes burn buildings, a realm of realistic, multi-level training scenarios is unlocked. This integration has been adopted successfully by various fire departments, enhancing their training capabilities exponentially. Delve into the heart of live fire training scenarios within the Connex boxes, now amplified by the ADT's multi-floor access, providing an unparalleled training ground.
We started looking at Connex boxes about probably 10 years ago. To me, you can't beat them, especially for the price. The Affordable Drill Tower was the same way. We've got 6 floors, we've got standpipes on every floor, we've got more anchor points than you can count, we've got removable floors, removable stairs. We can go into the 2nd and 3rd floor off the drill tower, so whether you want to use it as an external stairwell or a high-rise, we can do all that and mimic just about any type of situation that the members of the fire department might encounter.
Experience cost-effectiveness, enhanced realistic training, versatile operations, easy multi-floor access, and innovative solutions to age-old training challenges. Take your fire department's training to the next level with Affordable Drill Towers. Reach out to Affordable Drill Towers to elevate your training capabilities today.
Corley Moore, Firehouse Vigilance. It is weekly scrap number 320. My guest tonight is Helton Pereira. He is first and foremost a Christian husband, a father, and then a firefighter paramedic. He has 17 years of experience in the fire service, currently serving as a lieutenant. He's the author of The First Things First, a book written to help firefighters fall in love with the job by focusing on faith, family, fitness, and firefighting. He also hosts the First Things First podcast, where guests share stories of their love for the job and the fire service. His passion for mentoring and serving others is a reminder for why this truly is the best job in the world. And I'm excited for the conversation. So welcome my brother, Helton Pereira, to episode number 320.
Chief, thank you. I appreciate it. I am honored and humbled to be here. I'm really excited to just share what's on my heart with everybody.
Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to the conversation. Is there anything I missed? Anything you want to add to the intro?
No, that was good.
Excellent. All right, then we will get to the beautiful sponsors and we can get to the beautiful questions from the audience. Affordable Drill Towers, on a mission to bring you cost-effective and versatile training props like the Affordable Bailout Prop, which allows you to practice window bailouts, and ladder high point rescues. They also offer the Affordable Standpipe Prop, which you can roll into the classroom for standpipe theory and then roll it into the parking lot and pump realistic flows and pressures. And of course, their mainstay, the Affordable Drill Tower. It comes in several configurations and standard with a standpipe system. Choose from 1 or 2 sets of stairs integrated into your existing Connex boxes for multi-story access or freestanding on a slab. All models NFPA 1402 compliant and gain you ISO credit. The only thing that you can't do in an affordable drill tower is live fire training. So call Steve 844-55-TOWER or email info@affordabledrilltowers.com. When it comes to building the perfect attack package, you can't just slap any nozzle on any hose and hope for the best. That's a recipe for failure. At Snap Tight Hose, they are not just trying to sell you hose, they are there to make sure you get the right hose paired with the right nozzle for your crew and the conditions you'll face. Their team of experienced reps knows this stuff inside and out, and they're ready to help. No ego, no judgment, because knowledge is power. And at Snap Tight Hose, they bring both. Visit snaptighthose.com to connect with a rep and start building your ideal hose and nozzle package today. Firestationfurniture.com. They provide a complete line of quality furniture for your firehouse. They are firefighter owned and operated, and they understand the strain firefighters put on furniture and offer furniture that's built to last. Visit firestationfurniture.com for more information. And of course, everybody knows I love Flame Decon, absolutely what Tara does and her mission. And so Flame Decon, get the nasty stuff off you. Use the soap. All right. All that being said, Helton, it is time to scrap all of the beautiful sponsors. So I never want to say we got that out of the way like they're not important. They are important. And that's why we do them right up front and get them done so that we can get to scrapping. Audience is already in here. They're pretty excited to have you here. I got to see what I did. I did a new thing where I did the pop-out chat. Now I got to figure out where it's at. So there we go. Absolutely excited. Ready? Let's go with 5 O's coming in from Faith in the Firehouse. Forged in Darkness said, let's go Helton. So they're absolutely supporting you up. LFG, the first things first. Let's go Helton, the first things first. So yeah, there's one jam up guy right there with 5 fire emojis. So they're excited to hear what you have to say, my brother. So let's just kick it off. And let's first of all talk about, we'll just lead off with talking about the book, because this is actually how I kind of got to know you right out the gate. You were working on this when we first met. It was pretty far along, I think, but also not finished yet.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll let you tell the story and just go from there.
Yeah, for sure. I think that let's put the first things first, right? So I have to say that I want to first thank and honor my wife and my kids for allowing me to do this, because if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for her holding it down at the house, the countless hours that I took from, like, hey, I'm going to go write. Hey, I'm going to go to a conference. Hey, I'm going to go train. So I first have to honor her, and she's definitely my rock, and she is one of the reasons why I wrote the book. So the first thing first, where it came from actually was it came from a lot of conversations with people at the Firehouse. Obviously, it's a concept that I got from my faith. Like you put the first things first. You give the first fruits. You give the first best of what you get. And so I started actually having a lot of conversations with guys and girls at the Firehouse. People were just having issues with their mental health, going through divorces, substance abuse. And so a lot of these conversations that started happening, and people would ask me for advice, like, hey, what do you do? Or how do you deal with this? And those conversations they became more and more, a lot more were happening. And I was like, man, what's going on? Like I obviously, I don't have all the answers,
Just to increase in frequency and increase in intensity, or both, or.
Yeah. So really what happened, there was a string of things that were happening in my life, probably about 5 years ago, that really kind of like kickstarted this whole thing. So always being a guy that goes to church and reads the Bible, and I'm very intenseful in pouring time into my marriage, pouring time into my kids, obviously that showed, like I'm, if anybody is my friend on social media, they see that I'm always posting pictures of me and my wife on date nights, having coffee on the front porch, me going to sports games with my kids and doing things with them. So people they would see that and say, hey man, like you're obviously doing something right. And I'm trying to figure these things out, so those conversations started coming. And so when I have what I think is a good marriage, is a good family, and people see that in me, and they're like, "Hey, man, you're doing something right. What is it that you're doing?" And I was like, "Man, I'm just putting God first, loving my wife, taking care of my kids, and I'm not pouring myself into the job like some of us do a lot of times." I think that sometimes we just because this. Well, let me say this: this truly is the best job in the world. I'm really lucky and I'm blessed that I have this. It's a job that I wanted, that I prayed for, and that I think it's the best job out there. But sometimes we kind of put the job in front of other things, and I think that's why sometimes those conversations started happening, because guys and girls, they were just we put ourselves, we go to training, we go to
Oh
conferences,
yeah. Oh yeah.
and then after a while, like we forget that, hey, we have a wife and kids at home. Like
No,
go
the job will replace what's most important. It will, and it'll feel natural when it's happening.
Yeah, for sure. And then, your wife already is a single mom in a way, because you're
Yeah,
gone for 24 hours. And throughout the years after, the kids are gone, and now you're two roommates that don't really have anything to talk about. So what I did was I wanted to put the first things first. Like it says in the book, I want to, make sure that my wife and I are going to church. We're raising our kids in a good home, and we're just loving one another and taking care of each other. And so the things that happened to me is, and I'll be honest, like there was a time in my career that I was what I call, quote unquote, out of love with the job, right? Because it was a slow drip of the job. It wasn't so much like the calls, or there was no traumatic event. It was just like the little things here and there that just added up. And have I lost some friends. I had a friend that committed suicide back in 2014, and then I had another friend that died more recently. I believe it was 22. And so he was a really close friend to me. We went to high school, not to high school, to recruit school together. And so that was obviously big. The first thing that I think, man, he committed suicide. That was the first thought that came into my mind. But actually, he had a cardiac event. And then a year after that, when the week that we're going to Colorado Springs to put his name on the wall, another friend of ours had a heart attack. And then 6 months after that, I had another guy who had a mental breakdown and had to leave the job. 6 months before that, I had a guy with substance abuse that had to leave the job. And these are all guys in my recruit school. So I was like, man, there's obviously a commonality, that's
right.
something going on, that people are not putting the right things in the right order in their lives. And that's where the book came about. And that's when I started putting pen to paper. And I just wanted to give more than, because I couldn't have these one-on-one conversations with everybody. So I
Sure.
thought, if there are these guys that are just close to me that are dealing with this, there's got to be more people that are dealing with that. So that's where the book came about. And that's where the first things first came from.
No, and like I said, we met at the Culture Forge, actually, at Firemanship. I think it was the first time we met in person,
Correct.
and we had a good conversation there. But one thing I'm hyper, I want to say sensitive to, is like people come up and start telling me about something they're working on and stuff, and I'm like, man, hold on, I have to pump the brakes. I don't want to hear about your project. I want to know who you are. But one thing I will say about you is that you just try to bring value to the fire service. That's what the book does. Is what the podcast. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, is because I never, it wasn't just you promoting, just trying to promote, you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, what I'm saying, there's a difference. There's a genuinity. I'm making up words now, to it. And so, that's one thing I wanted to bring up and talk about, was that it is bringing value to the fire service. The people who take the time to read First Things First, the First Things First, and the people who take the time to listen to it, there is so much, roadmap to, I don't even think success is the right word so much as long-term. I want a better word than
Yeah.
success, but long-term.
Yeah, it is. It truly is. Like one of the lines that I say is, I wanna be able to live beyond the fire service, right? Because when we put our 2 weeks in and we're ready to retire, like somebody else is going to come and fill our seats. But I want to love the job from the day one until the last day that I'm here, and after the job. The other thing that too, like we sit at the firehouse table and we complain about the rigs, the schedule, the anything and everything that we can. We'll find a reason to sit around and complain around the kitchen
And we're
table,
good at it.
right?
We're masters of it.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. And so I kind of got tired of that a little bit. And don't get me wrong, like I'll sit around the kitchen table and complain just like anybody else. But that rhetoric just got old and tired. So I just wanted to really give back and say, hey, here are the things that I have done, not because I'm perfect and I've got everything figured out, but these are the things that I have done that it seems to be working. My wife's happy, the kids are happy, and I love the job, and so I just wanted to share that with people. And I think that if we get, the home part right, I think that the job, it just gets so much easier.
Oh, dude, yeah, absolutely. First things, I don't want to say first things first, but it fits. It's very apropos. All right, we're gonna start throwing questions at you because there's a lot already stacking up from the audience. So, are you ready for your first questions from the audience?
Let's go. Let's hit it.
Faith in the Firehouse is coming at you and says, advice for firefighter mid-career finding themselves out of shape, out of love with the job, and feeling burnout. And I've been that person and know that person. Many trying to get through shifts, but they have a wake up call. Where to start a comeback? I love that question. So thank you, Faith in the Firehouse. I'm not. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so that was actually me. That was in that there was a period in my career where I was angry, I was mad, I was out of shape. So I actually lost 60 pounds back in 2018. I put a couple of them back, and so I just said, listen, I want to live beyond the fire service, right? So I had to start eating right. I had to start exercising, and I just had to start sleeping. Sleeping was another big thing, and we've talked about this, right? That a lot of times I don't catch the scrap live because I like my sleep, and
And you're East Coast too, which is
yeah.
the
So
scrap is rough on the East Coasters.
so it's a big thing. So I just had to, and I didn't go crazy. I didn't go with a crazy diet. I didn't go with a crazy exercise routine. I just started small, and started walking a mile, started running a mile, started, now I'm built up to I'm actually training for a marathon now. And so the change that you have to make, for me, it really was, and I'm going to tell this story because it was a real wake up call. So my wife and I were taking the kids to the pool, and she always takes videos of us playing. And she showed me the video, and I'm like, man, who is that fat guy chasing our kids around? And I realized it was me. And so for me, that was like, I was like, man, like, at the time I was early 30s, and I was like, I can't be that. I can't do that to my kids. So that was, for me, that was the wake up call. So I would say that for anybody that's struggling is find an accountability partner that can show you some workout routines, somebody that can show you how to eat right. And it doesn't have to be a crazy diet. It just eat less and exercise more. That's start right there. And man, I can't tell you how much that's going to change it's going to want make you train more. It's going to want to make you more excited about the job. Your uniform's going to fit better. You're going to look better. And hey, the wife loves it. So if that alone should be a good motivation.
No, phenomenal. And the consistency. I love it. I love the answer. I love the question, Faith in the Firehouse. And what I will say, and I'll tack on, because I'm a quote guy, so I'll throw two quotes at you. One of them, I'm going to bastardize Huberman. And one of the things he says, when your mind isn't right, look to the body. So get in the gym and just put in work, whatever that looks like for you. And everybody starts at a different zero or a different negative, so some people's, but just put in work. When the mind isn't right, look to the body and start getting the body right. The other thing is Master Sergeant Chief. I get the rank. It's Sergeant Major of the Army Daily. And I think he was in the 90s to the early 2000s. But one of his quotes, he had the 10. I went over in one of the early scraps, but one of my favorites is PT is not the most important thing you will do today. It's the most important thing you'll do every day. Yeah. And I absolutely love that quote. And those two things right there, I think, is one of the best ways to defeat that burnout and that complacency is those things.
One of our battalion chiefs used to say that on the days that I feel like working out, I do it for myself. And on the days that I don't feel like working out, I do it because somebody else's life depends on it. And so that's also motivation. And just finding somebody, like a workout partner or somebody that can motivate you. I tell you what, one of the best things for me that motivates me, it's the it's the Discord, the Vigilantes, just like posting a daily workout. Like I see everybody posting their workouts, like, oh man, okay, I got to do something, or not that we're trying to one up each other, but that's an accountability right there.
No, the
Just
accountability is, I feel the same thing when I'm like, oh, today, man, I can feel the lactic acid's built up. I need to rest my body. You know what I'm saying? And I don't
yeah,
post the work. I don't hit the weights. And I'm like, man, I didn't post anything today because it was a recovery day.
yeah,
So, but no, I feel that, like you said, it's not a one up. It's an accountability, and
yeah.
it's powerful. I really, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the question. Keep them coming. Kyle Piverall is coming next. Kyle says, LT, how can we motivate and encourage those people that don't see the importance of fitness, choose not to, or flat out refuse to get in shape for the job? Yeah, there's $1 million question for you.
Whew, man, if I can figure that out and jar it up, and man, I'll be a millionaire. I think you've heard it here before. This is nothing new. Just start doing it yourself. It, if you're going to motivate people, not that you're trying to make them look bad, but if you start working out, if you invite them, hey, maybe change your workout. Maybe you don't have to do, the Murph today. You can change it up, do something easy. Maybe it's just a walk around the firehouse. Just invite them to walk around the firehouse. Just hey man, I'm going to take a walk. Invite them to walk on the treadmill. If your firehouse is 2 treadmills or a treadmill and a bike, invite them to have a conversation with you. Start small. Perhaps it will guilt them into doing it. Say, hey, we're going to do a crew workout today. Now, if everybody else but that person is joining, maybe they're going to feel a little guilty and join in. And unfortunately, sometimes people are just stuck in their ways and they don't want to do it. But I think that I love group PT. So doing a group PT session, it's a good way to bond with your crew. It's a good way to build relationships. And I think that perhaps showing them that way instead of, I don't think shaming is ever going to work.
Right.
So perhaps just using some positive motivation in that way of just, hey, we're going out to the bay. We're gonna do some drills, or we're gonna work out. We're gonna run. We're gonna do whatever. Perhaps that's a way to motivate them.
Get them involved and encourage it, because I firmly believe this. I can't prove it with a calculator or anything, but I firmly believe everybody knows they need to be. Everybody knows what they need to do. They do in their deep psyche. They know what they need to do. Now, the problem is they've gotten so far deep down into complacency, they've created this false reality, and then these excuses and these things that they say that they really don't even believe, but they say them. And so, but if you can get a little bit of involvement and then some encouragement, it's powerful once they realize they can do it and those scales start falling off and they actually start punching through that self-deception. It can be pretty powerful. Yeah, good luck with it, man. It is the $1 million question. He'll write fixing fitness first or something, and that'll be the $1 million multi-platinum. I love it. Thank you for the question, Kyle. Scott Hoke says, how do you recognize that you're the problem and not the environment around you? How do you identify where to start that transformation?
Man, I think that sometimes you have to dig deep, right? You have to, if everybody is, again, just like the last question, if everybody around you is doing something that is different than you are, and it's either working for them, if you're the only guy left at the table complaining, or if you're the guy coming to the table to complain, it may be you may be the problem, and so I think that self-awareness is it's something that it's not everybody has, but perhaps ask somebody, man. Sometimes, so a good friend of mine, Marshall Warm, he's another buddy that I went to recruit school with. He was a quarterback in high school, and he's still a great quarterback. Okay, so you still win the title. So he became a captain. He said that he needed a left tackle, and the left tackle just watches his blind side. And so he had somebody on his crew say, hey, when I am doing something, that if I'm giving you an order or giving you a drill or telling you to do something that the crew doesn't think it's good, or that I'm way wrong, you need to tell me. So find somebody that you trust, whether a mentor, it can be somebody that's a rank above you, or sometimes it's even good to go a rank below you and be like, hey, where am I missing the mark at? What am I messing up on? What are the things, what could I be doing better? If you are the officer, you should probably be doing a reverse, evaluation. because we always do the evaluations on our guys and girls, right? So I try to do that every year. I say, hey, here's my here's my evaluation of you, but I want you to write an evaluation of me. What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Where am I missing the mark? So perhaps having that conversation with somebody that you can trust, and somebody that's going to be honest with you and not just sugarcoat it. Perhaps that's one of the ways that you can figure out.
Phenomenal little blueprint you just laid out there. I love everything you said, man. And one of the things I always say, when you ask the question, when you have the ability to ask the question, is it, maybe I'm the problem here. Maybe that's a great first step, because there's a lot of people who like just point the finger outward and they never can look in the mirror. So at least asking the question lets you know you're on that, that path to that identity. And the other thing, and I loved what Helton said about the blindside tackle. Great analogy, but we all have blind spots, and they're called blind spots for a reason, because we can't see them. And so if you don't, I mean, you're not going to just wake up and all of a sudden see your blind spots. You got to get that outside reference. And he already brought up the reverse evaluations and 360s. Man, phenomenal. Great question. From Scott. Keep them coming. Vigilantes, scrappers, they're all showing out. Forged in Darkness wants to know, what made you want to become a fireman? Do you feel like it's just a job or more of a calling? Where do you land?
Ooh, man. So I didn't find this job. The job found me. I was a college student, and I wanted to go to medical school. I wanted to be a super cool doctor. And so I started volunteering because I said, hey, I want to do this EMT thing and see if I like it. And I love the story. So I had an instructor for fire extinguishers class, and this guy was so excited. He was just teaching fire extinguishers, but he was on a classroom, like he was on the floor. He is like crawling as if he's going down the hallway, and he's like like in the middle of the classroom, spraying water everywhere. And I'm like, at first I was like, this guy's crazy,
Right.
but then I just loved his passion so much that the next day I went back to my volunteer Firehouse and I said, well, where do I sign up for fire school? So if you're an instructor and you have that passion, man, you can change somebody's life, because that's what did it for me. So I started applying for the job, and I was just like, man, this is awesome. I love this, and applied for the fire service, and here I am 17 years later. I love it.
Oh, absolutely phenomenal.
And
Great.
so
Yeah, job or calling.
Yeah, job or calling.
Second half.
So the second half, I truly think that it's both, right? Yes, it's a job. It pays the bills. It's cool. But for me, I definitely feel called to the fire service after, I obviously got into the job and realized what it was. One of my things, I believe that one of my mission is to serve God and serve people. And so I get to serve people through the fire service. I get to serve the people that call 911, and I help them. I take them to the hospital. I put the fire out. But I right now, I truly believe that one of the things that I am called for is to help the men and women in the fire service. Whether it's through the book, helping and teaching them how to put the first things first, and how to love their wives better, how to be better fathers, how to be better friends, how to have better relationships. I think we've talked about this before. Man, it's all about relationships. If we get our relationships, I think that everything just makes it so much easier. If we understand how to relate to people, how to relate to one another, it just makes the job so much easier. So I feel called to the fire service. Yes, I definitely think it's a calling as well.
I love it. Beautiful answer. Beautiful question. Looking back, okay. So I'm reading through questions and just cycling, so it's really good stuff. The scrappers are absolutely showing out. Jeremy Humphrey coming at you. Hump wants to know, looking back now, where have you personally failed at putting first things first, and what did you learn from it?
Whew.
Trying to get into the mistakes.
Yeah, no, man, I made a lot.
Hump doesn't throw easy soft tosses.
No, yeah, that's why I love Hump, man. It's I've learned a lot, so there were times in my life, I already said that my wife was a single mother, because I was signing up for every overtime shift. I was signing up for every training that came out. I wanted to take every class. Most recently, I just found out did you guys know that there's a fire department outside, a fire service outside of your department, and you can go to conferences, and there's cool people like Corley Moore and Cody Tastrell and dude, I was just like, conferences? Yes, I'm in, sign me up. And she's like, yeah, I'm at home with 3 kids. Right. So like, And so you can get really, really into the job because, like I said, it's the best job in the world. It's cool. The kind of stuff that we do is awesome. And we pour ourselves too much into the job. And so there was a time that she had to be like, hey man, you gotta take a break. You gotta remember you have a wife and 3 kids at home. So my wife is she's the boss. She's the wisest woman I've ever met. But I have a 13, an 11, and a 10-year-old. But when they were little, I started to notice. So I never wanted to be the guy that was at work all the time, you know? And so my dad missed a couple vacations. He missed my father missed my graduation, unfortunately, because of work. And I don't blame him. So um that's so we moved from Brazil.
But it definitely had an impact on you and said,
Oh, oh, oh
I'm not
yeah.
going to do that.
No, yeah, 100%.
Right.
And for me, the change was when my daughter at the time, she must have been like 9 or 10, and I walked into her room and I'm going to an overtime shift, and she is bawling, and she said, "Dad, I feel like I don't even owe you. You work all the time." And man, that just crushed me,
Yeah.
So I had to. I was actually sharing that with somebody today. Like the overtime shifts is not how much you get paid to your overtime shift, is how much your work is paying you to take time away from your family.
Mhm.
So when I looked at it that way, I was like, man, you can't pay me 100, 200, $500 an hour to be away from my family. So I had to shift a little bit. So maybe I won't take the shift work on Saturdays now because they have soccer games. Maybe I won't take the shift work on a Tuesday because that's when we can do date night. And so I had to reset and refocus, like where I could take time, overtime, or what trainings I could get to, or what certs I wanted to get. So now we have a 3-month calendar on our fridge that says, hey, here are the days that I'm working. Hey, I would like to. So now before I pick up overtime, I text her, I call her, say, hey, they just called me for this overtime shift. Can I work here? And she looks at her calendar and we say, yeah, we're cool. And so just working those things out, man, it definitely has helped a lot on our relationship for
No, the
sure.
communication, expectations, being on the same page, there's so much power in it.
Hmm.
So much power in it. And there's so many relationships out there that they operate almost in different books, let
Hmm.
alone the same page. And you scratch your head. There should be no reason for scratching your head wondering why they're struggling. You know, uh, and the power of being on the same page. Once you're there, it's like, holy smokes, how did we even function without this?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. We're actually so
Not that either one of us are perfect or our relationships are
no,
perfect, but there's such a power in it. But go ahead.
no, not at all. So I was just talking about this earlier. So we actually had a marriage small group at our house earlier today. And that's one of the things that we talked about is sometimes we put the work before the marriage, right?
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
usually when we are younger, is when we're making less money, but that's when we're working the most because the kids are little. I have more time, I have more energy. But I'm missing, the birthdays, I'm missing the first steps, I'm missing the first words. But the later years, as we're older, that's when we're making most money. And that's when we also have extra time. So understanding that dynamic of, okay, when can I pick up extra shifts? But like, I also don't want to miss the big things at home. And it's a very hard dichotomy. And you have to understand, like, how does your family structure work? Like
Right.
for me, my wife, I am blessed enough that she stays at home with the kids. Well, now she started working again. So you have to figure out, and like you said, you have to communicate. If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail, right? And so you have to sit down with your wife and say, hey, here are family goals. Whether it's this is how much money you're going to make, or whether this is how I want you to stay home, or are we going to homeschool the kids? All those things are things that you got to talk through. And if you guys are not on the same page, that's when the stuff crumbles.
A recipe for a very rocky road.
Hmm.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Uh Forged in darkness. How do you balance the Firehouse family and your family at home? Which we kind of talked about and covered a little bit. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that one, but I wanted to throw it out there. If you had
No, yeah,
anything
yeah, man. So the Firehouse family, it's just as important, right? Because it's almost a third of your life that you spend with the guys and girls at the Firehouse. So if you are at a place where you can have meals together, and my guys are actually going to hate me for that because right now I'm not eating with them because I'm on a weird training schedule. But have the meals together. Invite your families to the Firehouse. There's a crew in my department. Man, they're really good at this. every summer they have a family day, and
Yeah.
there's bounce houses, they set up the pop-up pool, like there's a whole party at the firehouse. My wife has come to plenty of Christmases, Thanksgiving. Sometimes she would just do pop-ins and come have dinner with the crew. Just involve your family with your firehouse family, because it's all one, right? So yeah, it's super important. Have the meals, have the family over. Just and the one thing that I'll say too is spend time outside of the firehouse as well.
Oh,
Have them over
absolutely.
to your house, go hang out with them, go to go golfing with them. I don't golf because I'm terrible, but like, whatever it is,
Whatever activity you can find to share.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
do
for
stuff
sure.
together. Do
It's
stuff
super,
together.
yeah,
No, it's
definitely.
powerful. Um, what's I'm going through the questions. They're coming at you fast and furious. Jared, hump coming at you once again. What's the first step a firefighter or company officer can take to introduce first things first principles into their station culture?
You got to
First,
live it.
yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so
Go
you
ahead.
you got to live it out, right? So you have to live it out at home. So just again, be the example. I think is be a good husband, be a good father, be a good friend. In the like it's I know I'm sounding cliche, but like you have to live these things out, man. If you are a good husband, it means that you are a good leader, right? So if you can love and respect your spouse, it means that you can love and respect your people, right? If you're able to love and correct your children in a good and fair way, that means you're going to be good and fair to your guys and girls of the firehouse. And one thing that I'll say is learn how to correct. Apologies. Learn how to connect before you correct people, because if you're just throwing the hammer down every time and you're not connecting with them, understanding what makes them click, you're just gonna hammer people and they're gonna hate you.
Oh
And
yeah.
so understanding those relationships, it's really what's gonna make it. Again, if you get it right at home, you're gonna get it right at the firehouse, because at the end of the day, if you're a company officer, your guys and girls are like your children. Sometimes you have some knucklehead children, and sometimes you have to correct them. But again, learn what they need, learn what makes them click. Like you say, it's can't do, won't. Like what is it that they need? Is it because they can't do it and don't know how to do it? Is it because they don't know
Yeah, you
can't
got it. Yeah,
yeah,
don't
and
know.
they won't do it. Like if they won't do it, that's when you're gonna have to, become like a father figure and be like, hey, now I can drop the hammer. But once you've built out those relationships with those guys and girls, um, they will then understand, be like, yeah, I'm sorry, I messed up, and so now you can have those tough conversations
And
with them.
like you said, it is cliche. It is cliche to make the analogy towards being a father or a parent and having kids at the firehouse. I mean, as a company officer, as a leader in the fire service, but it's a cliche for a reason because it's a really, really good analogy.
Hmm.
And your kids, when you discipline your kids, whatever that looks like in your household, if you do it from a place of love and you're doing it to make them better, they know that and they feel that.
Hmm.
And when you don't, they actually, again, I'm not a parenting guru or anything like that, but I firmly believe this is that when you don't discipline your kids and there is no uh, consequences for behavior and there is no expectations and there is no standard of how you're going to act. And I don't know if the word standard is the proper one to use when you're talking about family, but if there is no standard of what's expected and there is no accountability when that isn't met, then you can't. There is going to be chaos. There is going to be but
Yeah.
when you take the time to actually set a standard, set an expectation, and hold people accountable to it, because that is your job and that is your responsibility, and you actually do it from a place of love for caring for your people or your kids, whichever one you're talking about, they feel that and they actually know that by your actions, and it's
Yeah.
powerful, man. I love what you're saying.
There's something that says that if you don't raise and discipline your children, you're going to end up raising and caring for your grandchildren. And that again translates exactly to the firehouse. So if you don't have the tough talks, the tough conversations, if you don't discipline your guys and girls at the firehouse, guess what? That's a culture that you're building. We talk so much about culture, right? Oh, how do we fix the culture? How do we fix the culture? How do we fix the culture? Well, one is by setting the example, and two is by holding people accountable to what the standard is. So if you have those tough conversations with your guys and girls, that's you setting the standard. That's you building the culture. You know,
Can you have a standard that you don't meet yourself? Is it even possible? I mean, I know this is almost a rhetorical question to you, but can you have like an organizational standard that you don't meet yourself? Does it mean anything to your crews when you try to enforce that?
no, because I think then you're just being hypocritical, right? So if you're saying, "Hey, you must be at this level, but I'm here,"
Right.
then it's hypocrisy. So you have to, again, you have to hold your people accountable to the same standards that you have. And so one thing that I'll say is that I started doing a couple years ago. Uh, I actually again got the idea from my buddy Marshall Warren. You know, when you come in as an officer to a new firehouse or to a new station, you have your list of expectations. Hey, we're going to clean at 9 a.m. We're going to work out at 10, and we're going to do training at 1 and cook dinner at this time. Like, you're dealing with grown-ups, so you don't have to give them a chore list, right? So instead of that, instead of giving my firehouse expectations, I actually just give them my mission, vision, and values.
Yes.
So here's what is important to me. You know, my mission is this. My goal is this. My values are this. And so that just shows to them like, hey, here's who I am as a person, and that by itself, that's going to organize what your day looks like at the firehouse. Then you don't have to give them your expectations of, "Oh, when should we clean?" Well, you should clean because here's my values, here's my goals, here's my like you don't have to give the dotted line, the time expectations, because they're going to know just by who you are as a person.
Phenomenal and great chatter in the YouTube channel. There's great questions coming, great answers from the guests. This is shaping up to be a beautiful scrap. Uh, Jason Boyles wants to know, Helton, what are some of your mentors inside and outside of the firehouse? How do you
Yeah.
find a mentor outside of the job?
All right. So mentors, you have to surround yourself with people that are going to build you up, right? I never want to be the smartest person in the room. So you always got to find people that are going to be building you up. So in the fire service, I just by pouring myself into the job and reaching out to people, really. For me, Mark Davidson has been a huge mentor. Chief, you have been a huge mentor. Sometimes mentors are people that you don't even know. It may be somebody that you are just watch on YouTube or you've seen in a class. But guess what? Reach out to people. Like I'm pretty sure that when we first met, before I met you in person, I reached out to you and sent you a message. That's the beauty of the internet nowadays.
Yes.
You can just send somebody a message. They may reply to you, they may not. Find somebody that's going to be able to pour into you. And so Mark was actually a huge influence on me writing my first article a few years ago, and that he really actually got me excited into writing and putting my ideas on paper. Um, my buddy Marshall Warm, he's been a huge mentor to me because we've grown up in the fire service together. He's checked in on me when I had tough times. I've checked in on him when he's had tough times. So those are definitely one of the ways. Just reach out to people. It's one of the ways that you can find people inside the fire service. Now, outside of the fire service, for me, one of obviously my biggest thing is, as you can see, is on the top of my priorities is faith.
Yeah.
So I have pastor friends, pastors that are my mentors. My pastor is actually is my age, so he's a friend, but also a pastor. I have guys in what we call small groups that are, mentors of mine. They mentors in areas of my marriage, mentors in areas of my finances, mentors in areas of my fitness. So you can find also mentors in different areas. It doesn't have to just be one person. And so that's and here's the thing. So there's a verse that in Proverbs that says that iron sharpen iron. Okay, so that means that we're supposed to challenge each other and encourage each other. But the thing about iron sharpening iron is they're not just there to say, "Hey, good job, hurrah, you're doing good." Sometimes they're going to have to call you out and say, "Hey, man, you messed up on this thing, you messed up on that thing, you're falling short here." And so find somebody who is going to be, cheering for you, but also candid enough to say, "Hey, man, you're falling short of where you're supposed to be. You need
Nice.
to change. You need to step up."
No, and that's a great point on the iron sharpens iron because we always think of it like a cheerleader and a build up and a
Yeah.
positive reinforcement, but it truly is the accountability aspect of it that really plays out. And Fortune Darkness said Proverbs 27:17, just
Yeah.
for a frame of reference. So there you go. Um, Great question, Jason. Thank you for it. You guys are crushing it tonight. I want to say. Uh, I like this. We're going back to some tactics. Forged in Darkness wants to know, or skills at least, maybe not tactics, but is it more important to know a lot about everything or to master the basics perfectly?
Whew. So I've had this conversation with many people, right? So generals are called generals for a reason, right? They know a little bit about a lot. So you have to decide, where do you want to be in your career, right? Do you want to be the guy that knows a lot about ropes? Do you want to be the guy that knows a lot about the engine? Do you want to sit back on the jump seat forever, or do you want to one day step up to be the officer? Do you want to be the driver? Do you want to be the chief? Right. One thing that and it's a hard dichotomy, man. Because I wish sometimes I wish I still was able to sit on the back seat, and pull lines. Actually, sometimes I
Absolutely.
do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But also, if we're going to say, hey, I want to make change in my organization, you have to be able to know a little bit about everything, right? The beauty about my department is that you don't get to stay in a place for a long time. I probably, like, maybe if you're in the same place for like 5-6 years, that's a long time for us in my department.
Okay.
So people get moved around sometimes. It's good, but it's bad, but also gives you a different look, right? So we are a suburban fire department. So we have the busy firehouses, we have the slow firehouses, we have a little bit of rural, we have a little bit of, suburbs. We don't have any high rises. There's like one or two. So you get to see a little bit of everything, but you can also go, like, we have lieutenants and captains in the fire marshal's office. We have lieutenants in the EMS office. We have lieutenants in captains in IT. So you actually get to see a lot of different aspects in the fire department. You can go to training. You can be in the specialty piece, or you can be on the on the rescue, or you can be on the engine. So you get to move around a little bit. So really, the question that you have to ask yourself is, what do I want to do with my career? How much impact do I want to have in the guys and girls that I want to deal with? So sometimes you just want to take care of your group. You just want to take care of your unit. But you may want to make change in a bigger, aspect, where you want to, be able to influence policy changes and maybe make an impact in even different fire departments. So where do you want to step up to? So I think that again, it's a tough question. Me personally, I would like to one day be able to be a chief level officer. So I think that you need to know your job very well, right? So don't get me wrong. I still need to know how to pull a hose line. I still need to know how to force a door. And so you need to know all the basics, right? But I also want to be able to know a little bit about everything. So I try to get into anything and everything I can, because I just want to learn those aspects of the job. I have never been on a specialty piece, even though, I think it's cool. You guys, hey, truck guys and rescue guys, you guys are cool. But one day, if I'm a chief level officer, I'm going to be able to, I need to be able to tell them, hey, I need you to do a search at this place. Hey, I need you to do a vent enter search at this place. So I need to understand those things. So I need to get those skills, whether I get it in training or on an actual call. You need to learn and understand all those parts of the job. So one day, when you're at the position where you're making decision, you need to understand what you're doing, and not just willy-nilly because it says on the card, primary check complete, secondary check complete.
Sure.
You got to understand what you're doing. Yeah.
Checkboxing it, absolutely. And I'll piggyback off Helton's answer and the fact of, one of the things that makes it such a multifaceted question is, every level that you rise to, there's a new set of basics. At each level, there is a new set of basics. So when you are a firefighter, the basics are forcing doors, stretching hose, and throwing ladders, and performing searches, and those task level orientated things. And then when you go up to let's say the company, I won't even talk about driver, apparatus operator, which is a whole nother animal, but let's just say the company officer and jumping into the right seat. Now the basics are dealing with people and tactics, first do tactics and early decision making on emergency scenes. And then as you go up to the next level, now you're dealing with even more people skills as your basics. And if you're not good at those basics at each level, and you're in charge of people that are doing those. And so the amount of responsibility and the amount of basics you need to know, the farther up you go, it's tremendous. If you want to be plugged in, if you want to be one of the best, it is a tremendous amount of basics you have to try to take off the table as variables. So it's a phenomenal question, phenomenal answer. I love the basics. Daily Refinery. What marathon are you training for?
All right. So I am, man. So I got to tell this story because it's really funny. So my brother-in-law ran the Marine Corps marathon last year, and so it's Thanksgiving. I was like, man, dude, that's awesome. I've always wanted to run a marathon. So my other brother-in-law was like, well, I guess we're all doing it, right? So he signs all three of us up, and so now we're running the Marine Corps marathon this year, right here in DC. So I'm excited. I ran a half in May, so I'm training for the full marathon in
The half
October.
go pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, I got it under 2 hours. So
I see
my
your number. I see your numbers on the when you post your workout. So I know you
yeah,
got. I know you got the running. I mean, you yeah. So
yeah.
you just did a 5K the other day with the family, right?
Yeah, the whole family did a 5K. I am officially old. My 10-year-old crushed me by 2 minutes.
Oh,
My daughter crushed me by 1 minute, and yeah, so I'm officially old.
I love it. I love it.
I
I
was
don't really
I
know.
was hoping I could make until 40, so I could beat them all in a foot race.
Right?
But I guess they got me.
Yeah. Just got to make the race shorter. The older it gets, the shorter the race has to be.
Yeah, I mean, I actually do 100 yard dashes every year on my birthday. So hopefully I can redeem myself next year on the big 4-0.
I'm looking forward. We're coming up. I'm getting it. That's kind of getting into the 5 questions, so I'm not going to ask that one. I'm going through. Do you?
Well, since while you're looking at questions,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Yeah. Hit
something
it.
because
Hit it.
it's really funny. So I never thought that I would run a marathon, but I
Okay.
think running a marathon is probably and it sounds crazy that I'm even saying this. I think everybody should at least train for a marathon in their lifetime. And just the kind of lessons that I have learned from training for a marathon, I think it's specifically for the fire service. The first thing is mental resiliency and fortitude. Just the fact that I know that this Saturday I have to run 20 miles. There's nothing that I want to do less than run 20 miles this Saturday. But I know that I'm going to have to, and obviously you can just do it, you know, willy nilly. So I have been training up for it. So it started with 5 miles and then 6, 7, 8. So it goes increasing by the weeks, right? And so now I'm up to a point that I can run 20 miles this weekend. And so just the fact that I have the mental fortitude to be able to know, hey, this is what I need to do this Saturday, and this is what I'm training for. And so it just gives you that perspective. And here's the thing: you can't just run a marathon on a random Saturday, right? So you have to put in not just the motivation, because trust me, motivation alone is not going to get you there. It's the discipline.
Right.
So if you have the discipline to show up, not just on Saturdays, I got to run 5 miles on a Monday, and then take a rest day, and then Wednesday, and then take a rest day, and Friday, and then Saturday is the big run. So it's the same way with anything and everything else you're going to do in the fire service, right? So
Oh,
you're going to have to do this training or go to this class, and it's going to have to be perpetually. We don't just run everything we learn in recruit school and then we're good for the next 20 to 25 years. We're going to have to come back and do this and over and over and over again. So one day when it matters, we can show up and do what we need to do. And so I can't tell you how good it has been for me to just learn that it's persevering and embracing the suck.
no, absolutely.
I don't mean to sound like Goggins, but man, it's
No, and there's science behind it. There's actual
yeah,
science behind it that the mid-singular cortex, and if you're a nerd and get into it and things like that,
yeah,
man, when you force yourself to do things through discipline and consistency, to do things that you don't want to do that are hard, not
yes.
just things you don't want to do, but don't want to do that are hard, that section of your brain actually grows. The mid-singular cortex actually
Mhm.
grows and gets stronger, and you're able to do more things that you don't want to do that are hard. And the less you use it, the harder it is to do things you don't want to do that are hard.
Yeah,
And so, and it actually shrinks. It's like a muscle. It's
yeah,
crazy, but the science is now backing it up. The science is backing up the Goggins,
yeah.
the stay
And
hard.
it makes you want to do stupid things. Like I'm already thinking about doing a half Ironman next year. So just
Heck
please,
yeah.
somebody talk me out of this. It's
That's that
insane.
mid-singular cortex growing, baby.
Yeah.
All right. One more here coming at you from Fortune Darkness. What do you think is more dangerous? A firefighter not knowing enough or a firefighter that thinks they know it all?
Ooh. I think that I would say probably the firefighter that thinks that he knows it all, right? Because at least if you're somebody that you don't know enough, you can have somebody and walk you along and say, hey, you should probably let me take you under my wing and show you this. The firefighter that thinks he knows everything, I think that that's when people end up falling short and falling on their faces. If you are somebody who don't know how to ask for help, that's when you're going to get yourself into trouble. And those are the guys that actually come to me and say, "Hey, man, I thought I had it all figured out, and my wife's leaving me. Hey, I thought I had it all figured out, and I just got a DUI last week. And I've had those conversations, unfortunately, very recently. And those break my heart, man. It's again, it's not that I have the answer to everything, and it's not that I have this thing all figured out, but it truly is. It's God, family. It's taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually. Um, when you think that you're on top of the world, it's man, you're gonna fall hard. So ask for help. Surround yourself with people that are doing well, or at least better than you. Again, just surround yourself with good people. There's one thing that I've read that says you need your crew before your crisis, right? So you need men and women that you trust, that are going to be there for you, that are going to be calling you out when you're falling short. Because if you hit rock bottom and you don't have anybody around you, man, it's going to be rough. So definitely you need your crew before your crisis.
Right on, man. I love
Yeah.
that. I do love that quote. Uh, Faith in the Firehouse said, "The more you know, the more you realize you don't know." Dunning-Kruger
Oh
in
yes.
full effect, man. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's so true. And I love your answer there. Last one. I said it last time. This is the last
No,
one from
no.
the audience. They keep throwing good questions, and I wanted to get to
Let's
it.
go. Hey, I'm here
Scott
all
Hope has
night.
this one. Do you believe that you can have too much passion and it be counterproductive to the overall growth of everyone? How do you remain passionate without being overbearing?
Man, if I can figure that out, brother, please. I'm sometimes I feel like I'm like lecturing people when people ask me a question. So that is something that I'm still trying to figure out, because again, it's not that I know everything. I love listen, I love God and I love people. That's what's in my heart. And so anything that I can do to share with people, I just want to share. And sometimes my wife has told me, sometimes you overshare and you don't shut up and just listen. So I probably would say is take time to listen to people, and Chief, you say that like listening skills is probably one of the best skills you could have. So if you want to be passionate, you can be passionate about something, and definitely you can be overbearing sometimes. So I lectured for the first time a few weeks ago, and after the fact I was like, man, I feel like I just talked at people for the whole time. Like I started lecturing and said, hey, we're going to have a conversation, and then I proceeded to talk for an hour and a half at them. And so
I'm not laughing. I'm laughing because of the mindset. I've had it and I've been there and I've done it. And so it's just, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
yeah, no, I mean, I think that's it. You can definitely be passionate and be overbearing. So give your tidbits. Hey, listen, if you're a good pastor and preacher, just 3 points, right? The 3 points makes a good message. So perhaps whenever you start talking to somebody, have your 3 points, give them out, and then shut up, and let people receive it, soak in, and then have the conversation. Like there's a reason why you do this in a conversation style and not in a, hey, tell your story. Because if I just were to come here and just tell my story for the next hour, 45 minutes, then people will be like, man,
Click.
yeah,
On it.
so definitely, I think listen more than you talk, when even when you're trying to send a message out, because you give people the ability to respond, soak in, ask questions, and then that's when the questions are going to come, and that's when you're going to lead into the different discussions, and again, relationships. That's when you're going to form relationships
That's
with
it. That's
people.
the key. When
Yeah,
when they feel heard, understood, and valued, man, they'll listen to everything you have to
yeah,
say. And the real key, and I want to say this, Helton absolutely nailed it with his answer. But passion, I don't care what you're passionate about, any passion at all will always be overbearing if there's no relationship. And so if you're talking to a stranger about, like, you could go to I'm trying to think of something. What's a nerdy game convention and find someone who's passionate about role playing games, and they'll come up to you and start talking to you, and it will be overbearing as they tell you all about their 36th level, insert whatever, blah blah blah, whatever thing that they're passionate about, right? But if there's no relationship, it will always be overbearing.
yeah,
And so that's the thing to keep in mind. So Helton nailed it with the, man, just listen to them. If they're heard, valued, and understood, if they feel heard, valued, and understood, they'll give you all the time in the world and listen to everything you have to say. Dude, absolutely loving it. I'm loving it. So I love books. I love books. Besides this
Ooh.
book, which, I mean, we've talked about first things first, but besides that book, what book do you think firefighters should be reading?
Man, I'm so excited about this. I hope there's no time limit on this, but I'll be short. I promise. I swear.
Romulus, I think, has the record. I think he went an hour and 45 minutes and talked about 73 books.
All right. I actually I tore my list down, but this obviously is the number one book. So this is my Bible.
Oh, okay. I was like,
You know,
trying to read the title.
it
but
is. It's falling apart, but here's the thing. I'd rather have my Bible be falling apart than my life. So this is an everyday thing. Um, it's an encyclopedia. Like you can start in Book of Proverbs. It's like every day there's 31 proverbs. It's like the uneffed firefighter. There's little tidbits in there every day that you can read. Um, Man, there's some good stuff. There's romance stories here. There's war stories. Man, it's so good for you. Um, this is number one book for sure. And one thing that we didn't get into is purpose and identity. Boom, purpose driven life. Rick Warren, man, great book. Um, dig into that one.
Rick
Engage
Warren,
the-
Purpose Driven Life. I'm trying to be in the habit of saying the names on each book. So
Oh,
the
no, yes.
Bible, Rick Warren, Purpose Driven Life. Go ahead.
Engage the Enemy. Josh Chase.
Chase.
Josh has been a huge mentor of mine as well. Engage the Enemy. He talks about battles that we have, right? That, man, people are trying to steal our identity and our purpose. And that book is super good and impactful on that. Another one that for me that helped me figure out what was that you're passionate about and what the world really needs, finding your purpose. And this is Mike Donaghy. He's actually a guitarist. Finding God's life for my will. It's kind of trying to figure out.
Now
Really,
say that title again.
yeah.
Nice
It's kind of a weird title. It's Finding God's Life for My Will by Mike Donaghy.
Okay.
He says, like, you got to find the world's deepest need and your biggest passion. And when those two meet, that's where your purpose is. But you have to be careful, because if you pour yourself too much into that, you can kind of get yourself lost. But man,
Sure.
like matching those two things, world's biggest need and your biggest passion, and that's where your purpose is.
Beautiful.
And man, I could talk about like marriage books for like 3 hours, but I'll try not to. But first one, five love languages.
5 loves, man.
Man, you gotta know, if you understand your wife's and your spouse's love language, you're gonna make a lot of love. So make sure you know there's 5, and actually I won't spoil it. It's gonna be on the end here. Oh, this is old but goodie, Mike Galliano. Challenges of a firefighter marriage. Man, I just picked it up. I just finished. I had him on the podcast, and it's something that give it to your spouse as well. Read it for yourself, but give it to your spouse. You'll figure out all the weird stuff that we do in the fire service. It's going to be on there. Marriage on the Rock. Jimmy Evans.
Marriage on the Rock.
Marriage on the Rock. Jimmy Evans. Dude, good book if you're a Christian. Understanding Christian marriage is how you're supposed to do marriage, do family. Speaking of family, dude, this book right here, Raising Parents.
Who's the author?
This is Jonathan Borzazog.
Oh,
He's a weird name.
Okay.
Borzazog. So we are actually raising parents, right? Like, we're not just raising our kids. Our kids are going to see and understand everything that we do.
I see.
So he's the one that talks about, like, if you don't raise your kids, you're going to end up raising your kids' kids.
Yeah.
So
and that's a powerful statement. That really resonated, man.
Yeah, I mean, so I want to be able to enjoy my wife, enjoy my kids, and then you're a grandparent right now, right?
Oh yeah,
so
man.
I'm sure you can brag about your grandkids, and that's I look forward to the day that I get to do that. But I want to enjoy my grandkids and then send them back to send them back.
Now you won't want to. You'll want to keep them too. So I promise you, man. But go ahead.
Yeah. Leave and Cleave, man. So this is not really a book. It's a study guide by Pastor Mark Driscoll. Understanding boundaries, family boundaries. Okay. So
leave and cleave.
Leave and cleave. So it's out of a passage in Genesis where you and your wife are supposed to leave your mother and father and then cleave to your wife.
Okay.
Yeah, because listen, I'm from Brazil. I'm a Latino family. Latino families, they like live together. They're it's a really weird family dynamic. And I had to actually leave my parents' house. Like we lived together at one point after getting married, and it wasn't my wife and I was having dinners with my mom, and my wife's like, I already cooked dinner for you, but it's like, oh, it's my mom's food, it's delicious, and she's like, but I'm your wife,
Right,
and so
right.
understanding the dynamics and setting boundaries. That's what all this book is about. Setting boundaries for family, for friends. If you're married and hanging out with single people all the time, you probably shouldn't be doing that. It's not that you can't hang out with your friends, but like married people should be doing married people stuff, and single people should be doing single people stuff. And understanding that dynamic is super super important. Books that definitely helped me out in the fire service: Firefighter Functional Fitness. So
Moss and
somebody,
Kerrigan?
yeah, so it is correct. Dan Kerrigan and Jim Moss. Yeah. So somebody asked me earlier, okay, what do I do to motivate somebody? Get a book like this. Figure out, put your workouts together. Motivate each other. Just, hey, let's grab this book. Let's see what this workout does. That was huge for me. They talked about workout, nutrition, sleep, all that stuff. A big one, man. I can tell you, like sleep. It
Oh
is
yeah,
so,
this has been suggested. This has been, yeah.
this is like the Bible of sleep, man. Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep. The biggest thing for me was understanding that how sleep is linked to our ability to not just regenerate our body, but our mind, right? When we sleep is when we are able to put all our thoughts together. And so lack of sleep has a lot to do with PTSD, anxiety, and mental health issues. And it wasn't until I actually got my sleep locked in that I was able to deal with all that kind of stuff in my life. I got a few more.
Yeah.
Truth
Brother.
about
I'll
truth,
do it. I
no,
honestly, if I had my way, the scrap would be nothing but me talking about books to people who are passionate about books.
man.
So we're lucky I don't do it my way. So go ahead.
No, I love it. Truth about PTSD. So if you struggle with PTSD, this is a nice little short book. It is by Chad Robichaud. Look this guy up, Chad Robichaud. He
Okay.
is this guy is just a hero. So he's Marine Recon. He's the one that started this organization called the Mighty Oaks. They send firefighters, first responders, and military to a week-long resiliency center, and it's a faith-based organization. Everything is paid for. They also have programs for wives as well. It's just an amazing organization to just help you out with any PTSD and dealing with mental health issues. So super awesome. And obviously, I couldn't leave Chief Ali, Hope Out of Darkness. Man, everybody should be reading this book.
Hope Out of Darkness, Chief Dina Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so last three, Firefighter Success. Okay. This is a huge book for me when I was, putting together my plans for, designing my core values, my mission, my vision. It was huge for me as I was becoming a new officer. Sergi's No Nonsense Leadership. Man, understanding. So there was a period of my life that all I wanted to do was complain and sit around the firehouse and yell as loud as I could, like, hey, fire department sucks, let's fix it.
Right.
But one sentence in this book that said, you need to just worry about your fishbowl. Like sometimes we want to make waves in the ocean, and it takes a lot for us to make waves in the ocean. But if you can just take care of your fishbowl, man, you can then all of you together can make waves, and people.
He's got a new edition out too, right? Second edition's come out.
Yeah, he does the second edition, and I have it, and he gave it to me.
Excellent.
And the last one, because the last thing that we always think about is money, right? So this is a buddy of mine as well, Kyle Steele, from pension to paycheck. So this guy was he was a nerd. He's a nerd, and I love him, and he drinks girly drinks. But I love him. And so he was a nerd. Like he knew anything about pensions and our retirement and all kinds of investments. So he just really nerded out about that stuff. And he put this together, and he actually, back in the day, he started a organization where he helped firefighters understand their retirement system, when they could retire, how they could retire. And he actually was able to retire early from the fire department because he was just that smart and that savvy with his money. So it's definitely something that we are all need to think about because listen, I'm 17 years in. If you guys are, 5, 10, 15, 20 years in, you got to think about your money and you got to think about
Yes.
where to put your
No, and
money.
it's something
So
we don't address. It's something we absolutely
yes,
don't address. And,
yeah,
and when you're young, you don't care about it. You don't care.
no,
That's in the future. That's so far
yeah,
out there. Yeah, it's
yeah.
closer than you think.
Yeah.
It
So
is.
think about your money and get some people to now listen, if you don't want to read all those books, Chief already said it, just grab this one. It's a lot of this stuff is in there. And again, it's listen, I love, and if just call me, I'll talk to you guys about all this stuff because I truly am passionate about just getting people to figure out how to do things right. Uh, how to love God, love your wife, love your kids, and take care of yourself. And man, the fire service, it's gonna make it so much easier if you have all those things figured out, man.
I love
So
it. I love your
yeah,
message, brother. We do a thing on here. It's called the 5 questions for firefighters. I sent you the wrong ones, but you know the right ones, right?
yeah, let's go.
Absolutely.
I think I got it.
Um, they are, of course, the new version, 5.0. The answers are there's no right answers, there's only your opinions. And the points are arbitrary, assigned by me with the help of the audience. So, Helton Pereira, are you ready for the 5 questions for firefighters?
I think I am. Let's go.
Number one, you can do anything in the world except be a firefighter. What would you choose to be?
All right, so I kind of already gave it up a little bit in the beginning. I would be I wanted to be a doctor, but not just a doctor. I actually wanted to be a doctor in the Air Force. So my family back home in Brazil, all my family were military. They all went to the Brazilian Air Force. So actually, before I left, I was in high school. So I was in a prep school to go into the Brazilian Military Academy. So when I got here, I said, "Mom, you know, I want to go. I want to go into the United States Air Force." And she said, "Absolutely not." And so I was like, "All right, cool. Then I'll just go be a fireman." And so I would be I'd probably be in the Air Force. It's something that I toyed with the idea even after I was married. My wife was like, absolutely not. Like, you're already gone too much. So
Right.
I thought about reservist. So I'd probably be serving our country in the Air Force.
I will give doctor is a cool one. Doctor is a cool one. So you get max points. Just to lead it off. No, 1 for 1. Number 2, it's Jobtown. It's time. You're en route and responding like the scene from Backdraft, cassette tape, all of it in the works. What song are you playing while en route?
All right. So I had a song. I had to change it because I had to keep up with the cool rap, cool music. So I'm gonna say it's "Keep Going" by Kieran the Light.
Keep going by now say the artist
Kieran the Light. It's
here in the light.
Kieran. Kieran the Light.
K-I-E. Oh yeah. Sam's got it. I know it's not on the list, so it will be added. Keep going by Kieran the Light. I'm gonna wait and see what people say about points. I can't judge your selection. I can't judge your selection. This new trend has it into a genre where I have trouble unless it's old school, really old. Yeah. So I'm waiting to see if it solid. Kieran the Light is awesome. That comes from Joseph Lafergie. So there we go. I will give you the max points because you got 5 exclamation points on solid. Yeah, Rob Fisher and me are in the same boat. We never heard of them. Max points, 2 for 2. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check it out in the after party. We're going to be playing it. Number 3, tomorrow morning, you wake up and you are the chief of department. You can do whatever you want. Magic wand. What is the first change you are making? First change.
All right. So 42-hour work week for sure. And again, it has to do a lot with the sleep. I think that sleep is definitely one thing that we need more in the fire service. Obviously, the tones are still going to go off at night, right? But if we can go home and recover for a couple days and then come back refreshed, man, I think it's going to make a difference in so much. And again, it's more time off with your family. It's more time off with your kids. And it just goes back along with everything that I've been saying. So I can spend more time with my wife. I can spend more time with the kids, and it's just going to be better for my health. And so, yeah, let's go to a 42-hour work week.
Easy max points. Bonus max points. I don't know if I've ever given bonus max points, but absolutely, dude, that is one of the most important things is as the job has evolved, our schedule has not. Our schedule was created for a completely different job than what we're doing now. And we absolutely, it's taking hold. It's hitting big in Florida and moving across the country. And hopefully more and more people will get on board. Yeah, absolute. absolute max points for the 42-hour work week. The work week has to evolve. The job has evolved. The fire grounds evolved. The fuels have evolved. The fire behavior. Now the work week needs to evolve.
Yeah,
Okay. The EMS has evolved. You got me fired up, Helton. Number 4 on the clock. You are riding backwards. You are a backseat firefighter. It's a 4-man engine or truck, your choice. You can choose anyone. Who is your dream company to ride with? 1 driver, 1 officer, 1 firefighter.
All right, I'm going to break the rules. Mark Davidson, John Velez is driving, and Josh Chase, the backseat firefighter, is going to be for me. But I'm going to bring the whole first alarm. Kyle Romick is second in because he's going to get the line right. Cody Trestrill is third in because he's going to go to the back and he's going to get my 6. If I need somebody to on a Mayday, it's going to be Rob Ramirez, so he's 4th in. Preston Lyons is going to be on the tiller because he just wants to be a truckie so bad. Justin McWilliams is going to be on the second truck. I'm going to put Blake Stinesta on the rescue because it saves all of us. And I need the conductor, right? Chief Ike is going to be the BC.
Damn, that's you got a Hall of Fame, and you did it in 35 seconds. So there's your answer. And that moves us to number 5, the question that never changes: heavy fire and searchable space. Would you rather be assigned to the nozzle or first in on VES?
I got to have the nozzle, man. That's I'm an engine company guy, so I want to go down the hallway and put fire out. That's me.
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. That officially puts 320 scraps in the books. My brother, Helton Pereira. I was going to try and do the Portuguese pronunciation, but no. Thank you for sharing your evening with us. Thank you for disrupting your sleep and staying up a little later for us.
I love it.
And if someone wants to get a hold of you, if someone wants to reach out, find out more about Keeping the First Things First, the podcast, the book, a class, what's the best way to do so?
Yeah. So you can hit me up at thefirstthingsfirstshow@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. Just put at the First Things First. I obviously chose a name that has a huge, there's a big sports podcast out there. So at the First Things First, you'll find me on there. Also the website, thefirsththingsfirst.com. Just hit me up and, my schedule's wide open. So
I love it. Let's do the challenge to the scrappers. The challenge to the scrappers that they need to complete before next Tuesday. What's your challenge to them, Mr. Pereira?
All right. So obviously I love marriage stuff. Okay. So there's this thing called the 2-2-2 rule. It's you go on a date every 2 weeks. You go on a date on an overnight every 2 months, and you try to take a week-long vacation with your spouse every 2 years. Okay. Obviously you're not going to be able to do all those in the next week, but you can definitely do the first one. So try to find the time to schedule a date with your spouse and talk about the 2-2-2 rule, talk about, hey, where we're going to go in a couple months and where we're going to go in a couple years, and try to make that a habit. And it doesn't have to be the 2-2-2. It can be the 3-3-3 or 4-4. Just find time to date your wife, because again, you got to put the first things first, man. And the wife is definitely the first thing for me. So
I love it, brother. Great challenge. Great challenge.
And if you're not married, ask somebody out. So take the courage and go ask somebody out.
There you go. Throw it in there. If you're not in a relationship, go take a chance and get on one. Guest suggestion: who is someone you think needs to be on the scrap or back on the scrap?
Yeah. So I got a couple guys, and they're on the chat. So Daniel Alice, he's a host of Faith in the Firehouse. Man, this guy's got an amazing story, and he's doing big things. Right. Such a generous dude. He just wants to give back to people. So
you said Daniel Atlas?
Daniel Alice, and I'm probably messing up his name.
Okay.
Faith in the Firehouse.
Put you on the spot.
Dude. Yeah, no, it's and Derek is another guy. Derek and Paul Floyd, they're Forge in Darkness, another good dude. That's these guys.
I've seen him on here tonight asking some great questions.
Yeah, so those guys are doing awesome stuff. And the last guy is Pat Long. Pat Long has an awesome story. He just started something called the Decon Project. So Pat went through a bout of cancer about a year or so ago. He's still on the job, but his goal is now to try to raise awareness and raise funds for firefighters to be more aware of cancer in the fire service. But his goal specifically, he wants to give back. He wants to bring saunas, ice baths, and gym equipments and put them in the firehouses. And that's what his organization is doing. So those are the three guys that I'd say to bring them on. They're awesome dudes.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Love the suggestions, love the challenge. So let's get to the housekeeping. Go to patreon.com/the Vigilantes. The Discord is where it's at. Helton talked about it during the scrap tonight. There is so much going on in there all the time, from advice to it's hard to even wrap. It's great, man. Just go be a part. If you're looking for a place to connect with like-minded souls, go become a vigilante. If you're looking for a place to get encouragement, find accountability, go become a vigilante. And of course, you get to be in the after party if you are a vigilante, and that's happening in the next few minutes. Sam has already posted the link to the Vigilantes, and we're going to go in there, and like always, we're going to absolutely roast Helton Pereira. So, yeah, I'm heading up to Minnesota next week, and there's going to be a vigilante meetup while we're up in Minnesota, and I look forward to meeting all the vigilantes. I look forward to meeting scrappers and everybody, but vigilantes, man, there's just something about the creed and seeing each other and saying, yeah, I know. Yeah, we got that. Coming up next week on the scrap, Brendan McDonough. I'm excited for that conversation. Took a while to make it happen. You do not want to miss it. And then it is the return of one of my favorite people, the one and only Mr. Calm the Chaos himself, Andoni Castros. And on that episode, we are giving away the Pay It Forward that Sean Gray and David Rhodes made happen on Sean Gray's episode of the scrap, but we're announcing the winner of that Pay It Forward pass to FDIC. And the Vigilantes, again, they're the ones who are voting on all of the submissions that were put in for that FDIC pass. So not only do they get to be a part of it, they also get jobs to do. So, and they're amazing, just like always. So that's it. Let's, enough prattling for me. We'll get to the after party. I'm trying to think what else to talk about. That's it. Audience, you guys absolutely crushed it with unbelievable questions tonight, sending them right down the pipe. It was awesome. I love that you guys show up and make the scrap magical each and every week. Helton, thank you for spending your evening with us, your passion, and I mean, honestly, sharing the message of keeping first things first.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Remember, mutts don't scrap. I hope the tones stay silent unless it is burning. This job will never be safe, so stay smart out there.